Today on the 4Runner, I want to go ahead and see if I can remove a dent out of the back door. This happened about a month ago and it's nothing too critical. I just want to see if there's anything I can do myself that's not too expensive that would make the back door look a little nicer. Okay, so I'm first starting by removing this plastic tab behind this pull strap. I removed this plastic tab, but there's nothing actually there, it's just a piece of plastic. And then it looks like there's either a 12mm or you could do a Phillips screwdriver to remove this. Okay, so what I'm doing next is just going through and I pried this off with a screwdriver. You want to be careful not to scratch or, bang any of this up too much. I'm not so concerned, it's already kind of beat up, but then from there I'm just going to go around the whole plastic piece and pop off all the connections. So once you get all the tabs on the sides and the bottom unclipped, the whole back panel just slides up and off these hooks so you can remove the whole plastic piece. And next we want to take off this plastic covering. It looks like to my left is the motor for the window. And it looks like it's just adhesive holding this entire plastic panel on. Looks like this whole plastic panel is just held on by this adhesive. It was pulling off, or the black was pulling off as if it was wiring tape. It was stretching like wiring tape, but then I realized it's just like a sealant. Okay, because the dent is so low on the back of the door here, I'm gonna have to remove this piece. It just looks like it's a 10mm bolt. There's some cables attached to it, and then that will give me access behind here in order to go through and push out that dent from the backside. So what I'm realizing is this is all tied into this back latch, so I can't just remove it with this one bolt. I have to undo the latch piece from the bottom. You can see that there's just 3 10mm bolts holding this latch in. Okay, so what you're seeing here on the right with the orange and blue markings on that plastic clip there, those are all wires running through and then around to this white box here. So this must be how the door gets the electricity to lock and unlock. So I don't want to leave the white box hanging here, so I'm going to get cables or something to hold it up. The dent is so low that it's actually perfect to reach right through here, and just hitting on this piece of wood right there hits the center of the back of the dent perfectly. The only problem is this angle, because it's coming in at an angle, it's causing the metal to push out on the other side. It's actually making a lip because the edge of the wood has that point there. When I'm pushing it out, it's a little difficult to see, but right here it's pushing it out and causing a lip. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim this down to fit this angle right in here. That way when I hit it from the back side, it pushes it out evenly. Okay, so I put the door latch back together to hold the door down. I was able to press out a little bit of this. It didn't come out as good as I was hoping. It did make some points. You can tell there's some sharp edges, but it did get a little bit of this pulled out. What I'm gonna do next is use the hair dryer and the plunger, and I'm gonna heat this whole area up and then see if I can use the plunger to pull any of this out. Since it's big, this whole area is kind of pressed in a little bit, I'm hoping to get that to pull out a little bit. So we'll see how it goes. I'm not expecting it to go too well. Just that would seem a little too easy, so we'll see. Okay, the plunger does not seem to be working well at all because it will not suction to anything around here. Even when I was being very careful and holding it. Yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna have to take that apart again and just try pushing from the backside. Okay guys, so what I ended up doing was sitting inside the car. I pulled it down and bungeed the back door down a little bit just because the latch was disconnected at the time. And then my wife was on the outside of the car with a hairdryer, and when I had this removed, I took this rubber mallet, and then I have a 3-pound mallet here, and I just had this in against the metal. Again, this plastic piece was removed, and I just hammered on the back side of this, and that worked the best to get the dent out. Also, for more defining points, I cut this angle, so I was able to put it on specific points from the backside. You just have to be careful using this because it can push too far, especially the sharp edges on the opposite side of the metal. Okay, so this is what it looks like now. Definitely not perfect. In person you can tell there's a bit of a notch here and then just this whole groove. But this whole piece was pulled out and it's much more flush across the side now, which is great. Again, the suction cup was pretty much useless wherever you went. I know I'm not doing it too carefully right now, but even when I was trying to hold it up against the car, just like any little indentation you'd lose suction, or anything down here. You can't really tell too well, but this is pretty wavy down here, and because of that you can't get like any suction. Again, just going from the backside with the rubber mallet and then that wooden dowel type piece. It's not exactly a dowel, it's a square piece, but just pushing it out from the backside while somebody is heating it from here, that worked really well. So what we're gonna go ahead and do now is just go through, clean this up, sand it a little bit, and then do some touch-up paint and see what it looks like from there. So now I'm just taking a microfiber towel and going over this, making sure it's all dry and cleaned up. And I have this, it's Duplicolor, it's Toyota black, it's a black mica. I don't know if it's an exact match, but it was the best I could come up with. This is supposed to be like a almost like a sandpaper, and then you have this tip piece, and then if you want you can unscrew, and it's like a brush. Well, that's coat 1, so it's already looking a lot better. The reason I got the dent was because I was loading up a trailer, and I was told that the trailer was built for a 2-inch ball. So I had a 2-inch ball in my receiver here, and I went to load my Mercedes onto the back of the trailer, and as soon as I put the Mercedes on the back of the trailer, the hitch came undone and slammed forward right into the car. It was actually needing a 2-inch or 2 5/16 inch ball, so we ended up having to disconnect everything, go to the store, get a new ball hitch, and then hook everything back up, and I was able to load the car back on. But yeah, all because of just a simple miscommunication. I was told that it was for one size ball, or it was rated for one size ball, but it actually wasn't. So that's how we ended up getting the dent in the first place.